Hi, this is Keith Weaver with the Top Executive Strategy Podcast, where CEOs, COOs, and business owners share strategies for success. This is 6 questions in 9 minutes because the best strategies are concise business advice. And so we're going to get right to our guest today with question number 1. In a few sentences, tell us who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so thank you for having me. My name is Molly McGrath, and I am a founder of a company called Hiring and Empowering Solutions, where we do staffing and fractional CEO and CMO services for the past 25 years.
Awesome. That's very needed. And is there an area that you specialize in as far as industry?
Yes, we specialize in the legal space. So we work with small solo law firms.
Awesome. Okay. Well, great. Great to have you on today. So question number 2, what's the best thing about being a business leader?
I think the best thing about being a business leader is that you get to see the evolution of an employee and a business and all the moving components of it. So when you come in, you're able to take things from the infancy stage and be able to see them evolve and see your people, your process, your profit grow both personally and professionally. And the greatest thing that I see is when you have that alignment where people are able to operate in a place of consistency, ease, and joy, and you get out of that white knuckling of the business.
That's really true. Very good.
Yeah.
All right, question number 3. I hear from other leaders that a lot of times their people strategy is more complicated, difficult than their business strategy in their business. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, one of my favorite quotes is, business would be great but for the employees. And then the employees will say, business would be great but for the clients. And it's really being able to be aware of that and to name it. So I always see that leading people and the people strategy is one of the greatest challenges because of the lack of consistent communication, and having a platform in addition to a strategy for facilitating the conversation. So often people will get together and they'll just meet for the sake of meeting, and there's no facilitation in it. And in addition to a debrief at the end of every meeting where they're clarifying, verifying. And once you can implement those very simple strategies, everything in regards to your people strategy transforms literally overnight.
So really being much more purpose driven in what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Great. All right, question number 4. What strategy would you like to share with other business leaders today?
You know, there's a terminology that we coined in the early 90s called intrapreneurs, and now I see that terminology everywhere. I've even created a book called Creating Intrapreneurs in the Entrepreneur's World. And that book is, and my whole strategy and everything in the foundation of our business is about empowering your people and empowering your employees, because they're on the front lines. And as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as a rainmaker, if your folks that are your director of first impression, they're not engaged and they're not taking ownership of their role, which truly is a definition of an entrepreneur. They don't have capital in regards to owning the business, but they absolutely have heart and soul, and it's in their bones. And so when you can get hire great, then you can empower your people and give them their train them on how to be self-governing and open up the fabric of the business, so to speak, and share with them your core values, your mission. So often many business owners treat employees like, well, we'll hire you, just come in, do your job, put your head down, keep your mouth shut, collect your paycheck, and go home. And when I've been hiring and staffing, like I said, for well over 25 years, and when I interview people, they say, I want a place that I can belong to, that I'm involved in actually the fabric of the business. I understand what opportunities lie, not just for me as an employee, but I want to belong to something that will create influence, impact, and obviously income. So creating intrapreneurs in an entrepreneur's world, and I'll give you a copy of my free book of really showing you the 8 steps to creating an empowered employee. I really think that is where you start. So often people are worried about strategy, revenue, marketing, all that, and they gloss over the fact that they need to start with the foundation of the business.
Very well said. And I like, you know, more and more in society, you know, you can get a paycheck from almost anywhere, but to really have a passion and a place that you can call home, I mean, that's what we're looking for. That's what it makes it worthwhile to go to work, you know, 50, 60 hours a week. And so you have to provide that. Well, great. Question number 5 then. What other successful business owners, CEOs like yourself, would you like to acknowledge here or you think would be good on the podcast?
Oh, one of my favorite, Ryan Estes. You go to ryanestes.com. He's a national Fortune 500 plus keynote speaker, works for Pfizer, many big different companies. He's been on my podcast, very dear friend, and he is just revolutionary. Would be number 1. Number 2 would be Chelsea Williams, and you can find her in regards, she is phenomenal in regards to the fractional CFO space.
Great people to mention. Well, question number 6, just a final fun question then. Tell me about your favorite past boss.
I think my favorite past boss who really gave me the foundation of being who I am today was my very first mentor when I got into the legal space back in the early 90s and started out as an administrative assistant, so to speak. And he was a coach at heart when coaching wasn't even a street term, especially in the legal space. And he was my very first boss when I moved from New York to Colorado. And I came in to really serve as a practice advisor and administrative support for the attorneys. And he saw something in me and brought me in and brought me in to help him build a national coaching business. And he's my favorite boss because he was always very straightforward and honest, while respectful. So I always knew where I stood with him, and he always challenged me to level up and always challenged me to really what was the breeding ground, if you will, for the terminology of intrapreneur for me, because I'd go to conferences and I'd go everywhere with them and they'd say, how can you clone Molly? How can I have a Molly? And a lot of it I realized, which was the foundation, is that he always came to it not from a place of a boss, but from a place as a coach and a mentor. And I really think that's the greatest magic bullet, secret ingredient, whatever you will, for becoming a phenomenal leader and boss.
Well, and in other words, it almost, you know, if you take and really make a safe environment for people, but also you take the guesswork out of what their position is, what's going on. It takes the stress out, and it's much more of a casual learning experience, like you said, that allows you to grow. And so it sounds like he was the epitome of that.
Yes, one of my favorite books is Crucial Conversations, and they start with "Make it safe."
Right.
And so you said it well.
Well, great. It's great having you on, and appreciate your insights and your advice. Before we leave, can you tell people how they can find you, get a hold of you?
Yeah, absolutely. You go to hiringandempowering.com. And there, like I said, I'll offer you a free copy of my book, Intrapreneurs in an Entrepreneur's World. You can auto subscribe and get a copy of our weekly podcast in addition to our weekly blog. Even though our niche is legal firms, the advice that we give from a CEO, COO, C-level, and entrepreneur is universal across the board.
Well, great. Again, great having you on. And this is Keith Weaver with the Top Executive Strategy Podcast. For more insights, you can follow us on LinkedIn at Weaver Business Coaching or on your favorite podcast platform. And we wish you the best success.